Wow. So there's something people aren't explaining. NFTs don't have to be JPEGs. Imagine taking your favorite skin from Valorant, using it in Fortnite, not paying extra because you own it, then using it in COD, Minecraft, even Twitter, Instagram. But why would you need a blockchain to verify that? We already have servers that identify whether or not you have ownership of something. Valve's been doing this since CS:GO and TF2. Like, what? Come on, you guys. You gotta think. Why do you need an NFT to do that? And again, do you understand how hard it is for a game to just get off the ground? It is so hard to get a game just to work, and then trying to get like NFT verification or whatever, and just trying to like swap skins over. And each game has a different way of making things work. I just don't get how they're gonna try to get Riot, Epic, Activision to get all of this to work. No. Oh. Anyway, welcome back. It's time for another Dunk on NFT session. I swear, I think this should be the only story, because there's another one I want to talk about next, and it involves the number 500. But anyway, done with this intro. Let's move on, shall we? So, to begin today's news, yeah, NFTs and literally how they're just not useful. Particularly with the whole, take your favorite skin from Valorant using it in Fortnite. Like, you could kind of do that already. Like, we already have in CSGO a whole robust skin system. And, Valve has server-side, who owns it, who doesn't. You could sell your skin or, you can buy one. And if Valve really wanted to, they could move the skins from CSGO to, like, TF2, for example, because of its own internal servers. And other companies, if they wanted to work together, sure, that'd be great and all, but no company wants to work with each other. What? You're crazy. You're literally crazy to think that they do that, because the game's already hard enough as it is to just make. And thinking that you could somehow take a skin system from one game and just immediately put it into another means you just don't understand how game development works. It is just crazy hard as it is. But, I don't know. Anyway, moving on next, I did want to talk about some other really interesting news, particularly with Dying Light 2 and the number 500. So, if you didn't see already, Dying Light takes 500 hours to complete the game. Now, not to finish the game, just to complete the campaign and, finish the game. This is 100% completion rate. 500 hours. It is astronomically high. So they also had a comparison. It takes 534 hours to walk from Warsaw to Madrid. And honestly, just to put it lightly, this is what happens when you keep demanding for more time from video games. Like, that's why we're getting so many open world games. So for not to riff on Sony's production line and whatnot, because like Horizon Zero Dawn, Ghost of Tsushima, Days Gone, they're all pretty good games. It's just the fact of the matter is that they're all open world, and Spider-Man is also open world, and so it's just, I feel like people are demanding for more time out of their games without necessarily more content. Now, who knows? Maybe the Dying Light game, has 500 hours of just pure solid content, And, maybe it is just 500 hours of just pure high-octane fun. Who knows? But sometimes less is more. Particularly with games like Metroid Dread. On a first playthrough, you can maybe get it done in like 7-8 hours if you're just trying to rush through. 12, 13 if you're trying to complete the game. And so, that doesn't seem a lot of time compared to 500 hours to finish, but less is more sometimes. Particularly with Metroid Dread, where it is replayable. There are different routes you could go down to complete the game. And yeah, I don't know how to feel about this. Well, I mean, I do. I just don't think you should have a game that takes 500 hours to complete. Because another good example, Ultra Kill. That game, as of right now, is about like 7 hours to complete. At least the entirety of its campaign, and not including, well, actually, no. How much time do I have? I think I have like 9 hours. So like 9 hours to complete all the content within the game. And you might be like, oh, that's not a lot of time. And sure, it's not, but oh my goodness, Ultra Kill is just high-octane fun. There are no breaks on that game. There is no boring part. You walk into the beginning of the game, you get a pistol, suddenly everything just spawns around you, kill them all. The next thing you know, your next room you gotta run into, oh gosh, there's more enemies, there's new enemies. So, I guess the point is that if this is 500 hours of pure high-octane fun, great. You found a way to get 500 hours out of $60, $70 games. But I highly doubt that. So, I don't know. We'll see how good Dying Light 2 is and if it actually takes 500 hours to complete the game. I certainly hope not, because that's just so much time. But anyway, on to the next story. So sorry about the whole I wasn't gonna have more NFT stuff. Let's just dunk on Konami just a little bit. Oh, Konami, you had such great franchises, Castlevania, Metal Gear Solid, and then you just throw it all away. Particularly the whole Metal Gear Solid thing. God, why would you break off of your relationship with Kojima? It's so stupid what you did there. So, yeah, they're doing NFTs for their Castlevania series, and yeah, y'all are not getting another Castlevania game from the original creators. So just look to indie developers. They seem to make some really good Castlevania-like games. So next up, I want to talk about E3 being canceled. And yeah, let's just say that it's really disappointing to see that, E3 got canceled this year. And so, at least in prior years, if you didn't know, E3 was like a show floor where, people could go around testing out games, looking at the newest tech, newest things from companies. And then over time, it kind of just lost its shine and sheen. And then it was 2020 when they canceled E3. And then 2021, they brought it back, but it was all pre-recorded and there was no, live event for obvious reasons. And so, yeah, I'm really sad because I remember back in the day when E3 was a huge thing. Man, E3 was hyped. Everybody's like, what's happening at E3? Are they going to announce these games? Which companies came or left? Particularly when Sony left E3, everybody's like, oh goodness, that's pretty big. And so then it wasn't at that point people started losing faith in E3. For a while, E3 was getting stale and it lost, its fun factor behind it. But of course, there are things like networking, meeting other people, having fun, just looking at the new games that there might be coming out. So yeah, unfortunately, we don't have anything like that quite so. Sure, we have like the game show with Jeff Keighley and whatnot. We have like Nintendo Switch Directs and whatnot. And so we still get new games in the hype and speculation about what's coming up. But I don't know if you could quite replace it with what E3 is now, go disappearing. You're like, I don't know. But as SkillUp says here, I hope E3 or something like it is able to return in the future, ideally run by an organization other than the ESA. And for those that you don't know, ESA is the people that run E3, and yeah, they did a lot of bad things. Or not necessarily bad, but just things that didn't help E3 at all. So, yeah, I don't know. We'll see in the future if E3 comes back in some shape or form, or if it will be forever condemned to the digital move. We'll see. Next, I want to talk about AGDQ. And yeah, it's now live for 24/7 for a whole week, so join in and raise money to prevent cancer. Or get rid of it, We like to get rid of cancer too. So, yeah, go support these people. Now, some exciting news for those that really love the Armored Core games from FromSoftware's back catalog. So, a new entry in Elden Ring developer FromSoftware's Armored Core series has allegedly been revealed via a survey sent out to consumers. Reset Era's Red Licorice shared that they recently finished a consumer survey about a new Armored Core game with description, screenshots, and two 30-second-ish videos of gameplay. The first a boss fight, and the second more in open-world gameplay like a snow area. They were unable to share any screenshots because they were all unique ID watermarked, but they did basically say that it's coming up. And now, as somebody that hasn't played the Armored Core games, it looks interesting, it looks pretty cool. And I wouldn't be opposed to having mecha fights. I like Timefall, too. Now, of course, if it's just mecha fights, I don't know, I'll have some fun with it. But if there is some gameplay, where you go outside of your mecha, that'd be also interesting, too. But I think they're probably just going to stick with the whole mech combat. So I think it'd be really interesting for them to bring back a series like this. Especially after they made, Dark Souls, Bloodborne, Demon Souls, and now Elden Ring. I think it'd be interesting to see them not essentially move on, but like try something else again. Cause sure, they might be known as the Dark Souls developers and the Souls-like beginner, but I feel like after a certain point you'd probably lose your ability to keep up. And I think that, once in a while moving to a different game or a different series would be a good thing. And I think Armored Core would be an interesting one to bring back, especially since, at least from what I've seen, people that really played the game really loved it. And so I think it has the potential to come back, especially nowadays, and do really well. And I trust the team at FromSoftware to make a really good game. They make really good games all the time. So, let me know in the comments down below. Have you played Armored Core? And if you have, are you excited to see the series back? So, I want to talk next about Red Dead Online, and Yeah, I kind of forgot this thing existed. GTA Online has been the more popular of the two, I think. Sure, Red Dead 2 had a really good story, and whew, people were loving that. And then the online came, and people, they liked it too. But, yeah, it looks like it might be in some trouble. If you look at the article, Blood Money was the last major content update Red Dead Online received, and that was way back in July 13th of 2021. And so, yeah, now that it's 2022, it looks like nobody said anything about new updates, and also, it's just, yeah, it's looking pretty grim. And so, obviously, I understand why they don't want to put more money into this if they are, done with the updates. I don't think so, though, because Red Dead Online did pretty well, too. But so, GTA Online, that one's doing way bigger numbers and way more money compared to Red Dead Online. And so, yeah, I'm not entirely surprised that they're not quite updating this as much as I'd say Grand Theft Auto Online, but it is still a little disappointing to see nevertheless. But, where is GTA 6? Where is the story-based games that I know from Rockstar? Where's Bully 2? Where's Bully 2, Rockstar? Tell me. Tell me now. So, finally, I want to talk about Xbox Game Pass and how you can pay $1 for the Ultimate Edition for a single month and get a ton of games just for, good prices, Alright, I'm walking advertisement too now. But so, anyway, I do want to talk about how the Game Pass is getting a ton of good games. Now, I don't know about Gorogoa, Oluija, and the Pedestrian, but Mass Effect Legendary Edition, the Outer Wilds, ooh, some really good games. And then you get Spelunky 2, oh my goodness, ooh, Xbox Game Pass coming out of the woodwork swinging. So, yeah, if you have the Xbox Game Pass, Garrus. If you have the Xbox Game Pass, great for you. And if you don't, maybe consider getting it. Because, yeah, some of these games are kind of crazy, and, yeah, it's a pretty good system. I certainly enjoy it. So, yeah, that's the end of this week's news. Some, clowning on NFTs, particularly with Konami and people saying, oh, developers going to want to work together from different games. Yeah, as if. And so, yeah, a little bit of clowning over there, but also some interesting news like Armored Core maybe getting a new game. Xbox Game Pass getting a ton of really good games. And so, yeah, it's really interesting to see how 2022 started off with, Square Enix swinging out with NFTs, and now Konami doing it, and, other people saying NFTs are great, yeah, as if that's gonna happen. But so, yeah, I like to focus more on the Armored Core games news, the Xbox Game Pass getting some really big hitters, and so on and so forth. So, yeah, let me know in the comments what you think about the news of this week. I certainly think it was a bit interesting, and I hope next week only brings more interesting news. Hopefully I do see some Armored Core gameplay, because I really want to know, are they going to do anything to make Armored Core different, or is it going to be like the previous Armored Core games, but just in 2022? So yeah, let me know what you think down in the comments. And that's the end of this week's news. I will see y'all next week. But please comment, favorite, like, and subscribe, and hit the notification bell while you're on your way out. Thanks!